This is Andy Scott with North Shore Apartments and Condos. I'm walking into 809 Simpson, number 1. This is really a terrific one-bedroom, close to both campus and downtown Evanston, so it's really nice. As you walk through the door, there's a small entry area, and if you turn to your right, you see a nicely updated bath. In front is the living room, and to the left is a bedroom. Before we go further, I'll show you the entry closet, which is really quite a sizable closet. Let's see if you can pick that up at all. It's probably 3 feet across and a little more than 2 feet deep, probably closer to 3 feet deep. So it's a nice big entry closet. We'll come back to the bath and let's walk into the living room. I'll walk about halfway across, where if we turn to the left, we see the kitchen, which has like the remnants of a butler's pantry. If I turn around to actually show the living room, you see it's a nice big room extended by a sunroom. The windows are facing south, the hardwood floors are beautiful, very nicely finished. You get nice light because it is facing south. The room without the sunroom is probably about 11 by 13, but the sunroom's actually a nice big room. I'm going to walk in and just show you this sunroom area. You see it's radiator heat, and the original radiators, which are big radiators, are still intact. Again, we're facing south here, to the east, to the left, and to the west there. And as we look at the windows, we see they're newer windows. They were new about 6 years ago. Also, if we look at the dimensions, it's probably 9 feet across by about 8 feet deep. When we look out the window, we see Simpson, and turning around from the window, we get a look at the depth of the sunroom and then the depth of the living room. So it's actually quite a big living area. Very nice apartment. We currently have a couple living here now. Certainly big enough for 2 people, more than enough for 1 person. And there we see, again, the size of the living room. So we'll walk forward from the living room into the kitchen. The kitchen is much bigger than most, I'm going to call them vintage kitchens. You can see you've got full-size fridge, full-size stove, twin stainless steel sink. There's a hose attachment for dishes. Again, we have the nice hardwood floors. Back door will take you out to a small deck area, porch area, not really a porch, deck area, and down to laundry and storage. There is the remnants of a butler's pantry here, which is actually a nice big space. You can put quite a bit here. And here we have a nice surface area for prepping, or in their case, they put some small appliances. The prep area has got drawers on either side, which is super nice, and storage under cabinet space underneath, which is quite deep. And you can see they put some of their bigger stuff down there, the Keurig and their pots and pans. On the other side, we have the original, butler's pantry. You can see the glass shelving there, and that's being used. The surface area would have been for bread once upon a time, and then we have drawers underneath. I'm not going to show them all, but I will open one up and just show you that they're really easy to use. They work very well. So it's really a lot of cabinet space. That microwave belongs to the tenant, so I just want to make that clear. From the butler pantry area, we look across to the cabinets and the appliances. Again, it's a much bigger area than most vintage kitchens. We'll start with the stainless steel sink. The water pressure in this building is terrific. It does have a hose attachment, and you can turn this into a sprayer. So that's really nice. The cabinets are standard maple cabinets. They're about 2 feet high and about 11 inches deep. This has got 1 shelf, so you can put your higher, taller items in there. And this has also got 1 shelf. Whoops, Daisy. And you can see these guys actually use the top rather, for storage as well. There's an outlet next to the oven. The stove is full size, super clean. Not new, obviously, but super clean. Inside needs to be clean, but it's an occupied apartment. We would expect that. There's a little bit of space between the stove and the fridge. That piece there belongs to the tenants. The fridge is full size and it's probably about 5 feet 9 inches high, with a freezer on top, shelves to the right. Underneath, you have crisper drawers, butter dish, shelves to the right. It's actually a very nice fridge. As long as the back door is open, I'm going to walk out and just show you what I'm talking about as far as this little back deck area. You can see it's big enough for a chair, maybe something more. And right down there is laundry. So really super convenient. We'll go back into the apartment. From the back door, we get another perspective. And really, you see how big the kitchen area is. Most vintage kitchens are not anywhere near this big. And behind the door is this huge pantry area that can be used for just about anything, but it's just very big storage. It's probably 4 feet deep by 6 feet long, something like that. And it has a little rack on the door itself. So the kitchen is really pretty nice. I'm going to just step back here, try to give you like a quick view of it. There's the butler's pantry, the surface area with some cabinets underneath. We've got a big pantry right with that sliver right there, the back door. The rest of the kitchen with the appliances. And then we would go out to the living room that is extended by the sunroom, which is a beautiful room. And if we turn to the right, we see the front door. Now, before we get there, we'll turn left into the bathroom. Ceramic tiles, tank toilet, 2 light sources. There are lights directly over the mirrors, and then a ceiling light, which is really nice. These have been updated, so it's a pretty nice bath area. Good sink, cabinet space underneath. Let's check the water pressure here. And you can see it works really well and is draining very nicely. Underneath is nice and dry and can be used for storage. We have a medicine cabinet up top, which is terrific. And you can see the lighting right above, so that's really helpful too. There is an outlet behind these shelves here, which are the tenants. The tile backsplash is really in good shape. Now again, it's an occupied apartment, so we'll probably have to clean it a little. But the shower head is 6'4" or 6'5", which is pretty high. And we come down. The tub is actually newer. It's a newer fiberglass tub, and of course will be clean. Okay, let's check the water pressure. And we've got it all the way to hot. And you can hear it's coming out like gangbusters, so that's really nice. It's also draining very well, so we'll shut that down. And we'll let it drain. You do have a couple of towel bars. The window is a newer window, so that would open, which helps air out the bathroom. And that's one of the reasons the ceiling is so clean. If you air it out, it will stay clean. There's a radiator, a couple of towel bars, the lighting, the sink with the cabinet underneath, the tank toilet, and the ceramic tiles. It's really a nice bath. From the bath, we look directly across to the bedroom. Now, if we went to the left, we'd be at the front door. To the right, we'd be at the entry closet. And here we have what I would consider about an average sized bedroom rather. There's a nightstand. I think this is probably a full-size bed. We have some more furniture over here, beautiful hardwood floors. Again, if we look out the window, those are the stairs down to the laundry. And from the window, we'll go around and show you the, a little bit harder to see the size here. Like I said, it's probably pretty average, probably 10.5 by 9.5, something like that. Very nice bedroom. And it does have a closet. Which is actually a nice big closet. You see it goes from there all the way over to there, so that's easily 6 feet, and it's about 2.5 or 3 feet deep, which is really nice. Has its own lighting. We don't need to turn it on, but it's good to have. And then from this corner of the room, which I can't quite get to, we go around this way. So nice bedroom, nice big bedroom. That's your electric panel, which is also super convenient. Good closet space, beautiful bath, really a very pretty living room with a sunroom, huge kitchen, and that brings us back to the front door. Thanks for watching.